What happened?
He's him. I'm him. You're him. They're him. We're all
Stupid.
him.
Nigga said, I'm Himothy. Himothy. He said mad shit in the movie. He said, I'm Himothy. I'm him. You said, he said some shit. It was mad shit. Mad hymns. Gospel hymns.
But was the
There's so
movie
many.
him?
As it was a rough movie. A rough, a rough movie. It wasn't a rough movie. It was a movie that, like when you get through it, you're like, what the fuck? Like, what do we like? Why did I watch this? That's how I felt about the movie.
For those
That's
of
my non.
you who are
That's my
clueless,
non about him. Like, why did I watch this?
for those of you who are clueless, who are just getting here and you're like, what the fuck? I feel like I just hopped in mid convo. This is N.E.O. The Pod, episode 28, where me, NeekCinco, and my friend MoeFilio, aka MoeBlak, the youngest father of rap, are going to talk about our opinions on him, the latest
Who's
movie
him?
accredited to Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of crazy because it was actually directed by somebody else.
Yeah, he's just the
Um,
producer of the movie. He's not like the writer of it or anything like that.
yeah,
More like
yeah.
slap his
His
name on it for so we can get some attention.
well, his production team, I think it's called Monkey Paw, or some shit like that, had picked it up back in like 2019 or something.
Yeah. So,
So
but him,
it's one of those. It's one of those. I mean, for those who familiar with the show, we're not here to give you, recap or break it down. Really, we're here to share our opinion. You know what I mean? This is a horror movie. It's classified as a horror movie, so you know what I mean. There was really it was some eerie stuff, but it was no horror in it. You know what I'm saying? Say don't go there if you're looking for like a horror. It's not that
if
type
you're
of
looking for
movie.
spooky, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, Jordan Peele type of movies. Even though I just said that he's not the director, but his name on it really. But it's still his type of feel of movie where you have a bunch of symbolisms, going on, and you like, what the hell is does this all mean? What does it mean? But for that effect, they did a great job.
I'll be honest with you. I gave zero fucks what it all meant throughout this movie. I wasn't trying to figure out the deeper pick meaning. I wasn't looking for the symbolism. I was just sitting here the whole time, like, why? Like, there, like, it's just not
Yeah,
a big enough why. It's literally just football needs a new goat, rigorous training. I'll say rigorous training lightly, and crown a new goat. Like that's literally the whole premise of the movie. Is just crown a new goat, and he went through hell to become the, I guess, foreseeable goat. But
all right, well, let's
it's a
talk
lot for
about
some football.
the goat, the goat word there, because the original title of the movie was Goat, wasn't him. The original title, when they picked it up in 2019, it was written as GOAT, greatest of all time. So that was supposed to, like you said, football. We already know that's a football reference right there. Greatest of all time stems from that. But apparently, they wanted to make a movie more like of the psychological and the emotional and the physical, part of what it takes to be a GOAT, what it takes to be him. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why they changed it to him, because more so they wanted to make, and also Monkey Paw wanted it to be a horror. They didn't want it to be a football movie. You know what I mean? So that's that's where we get the title him from. But we know from the movie it's all about him trying to be the GOAT, greatest
No,
of all
but
time. You know what I mean?
basically they're not the same, but they're basically in sports synonymous for one another. Actually, just referring to somebody
Yeah.
as him is almost like that's what I'm saying. It's not the same as being called the greatest of all time, but if you're him, like you're one of them dudes, obviously. And that was
Yeah,
what he
yeah,
was
yeah,
chasing
yeah. It's
after.
just like what it takes. What it takes. It basically just brings like what it takes to be that person. Like you know what I mean? Like to have it all on your back. Like a big thing in the movie was with Marlon was I forgot his character name. I don't I'm really
Isaiah
not
Wright.
okay. Yeah, I'm glad you know because I'm really like drawing a blank here. Well Isaiah was telling him like you know what I mean like to be this person like what does it take like what like or what are you willing to do and that's
Yeah.
what that
And that
whole
was the
thing when
premise of the
he
movie is what was he willing to do to be him and stuff like that. And they just so what they did, whoever it is responsible, whether it's Jordan Peele or the writer, the one thing this movie does is give good use of the layers of the words that they're using, like goat and him, because obviously him being a reference to something close to the goat. You get him in the sense of Caden trying to be like him, Isaiah Wright, and stuff like that. You get the word GOAT, greatest of all time, but what's another word? Well, what's another thing that's associated to goats themselves? Devils, Baphomet, stuff like that. And that's what they're involved with is people that are basically a cult or Freemasons or just the devil itself. So the layers on how they use things was interesting in this movie, but I felt like the movie just wasn't good enough for me to be like, I need to dive in and understand all the layers that are
yeah you know I like it wasn't definitely it doesn't it wasn't a deep dive you know what I'm saying it wasn't a deep dive I felt like just knowing that they were like this was a football like they're football players and just knowing that this was a movie of him trying to be the GOAT I think that what they showed all the symbols they kind of showed was like kind of shot to me like I kind of got like for instance the mascot hitting him on top of the head
there at the beginning of the
when
movie.
I seen this huh
At the beginning of the movie.
right when I seen that I automatically my brain said he didn't really get hit on the top of the head he got injured in practice or some shit like that. He got injured in the practice. He got injured on the field. Like I don't know where, when. And then what told me that more was the next scene when nobody was talking about him being attacked. Like in the news press, in the combine, like nobody was saying. I think, and they,
Well, there
and
was a scene
matter
there
of
where
fact,
they did mention it.
yeah, I was about to say. Matter of fact, I was going to correct myself. There, what I did hear, like they say, somebody did
Who
say
makes up a
like an
story about
attack or
being
something.
attacked? That's the line that was said. I think it
Yeah,
was by his
right,
girlfriend.
right,
Like who makes up that story? So it is brought up that that's the
right.
story at hand. It just doesn't really do anything for the rest.
But
But I
I
feel like
think
it
this
did
is.
happen.
You think so?
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
totally
so.
think it
I
happened.
think I feel huh?
I totally think it happened because if you go
Yeah.
to the end of the movie where the agent ends up saying, "Hey, we did this all for you. This has all been planned. Like your dad, like basically sacrificed for this to happen." So almost everything that was going on in his life, these major occurrences weren't just random. They were like put there for it to be the next step in the transition. So this was what had to happen for him to end up at Isaiah Wright's camp.
You know what? I don't think that happened specifically because I get what you're saying, and then you're right. That's I'm gonna touch on the dad really grooming him and everything. Because that's what it was. This whole life, his dad basically sacrificed him to the Savers and stuff like that. Groomed him with the coach since he was younger to be him on that, to take Isaiah White spot, right? But however, in the movie we see Camden is like, there's one point where he's like crying. He's saying, he disappointed his dad where he explained like he fell out of love with the game and stuff like that. Like it wasn't what he wanted to do or like, really wasn't focusing on that anymore. So I almost feel like that injury was just symbolism of like almost like the universe like pushing him away. Like it was that force, like say pushing him away from what he loved. But at the same time, he was stuck trying to please his father, and I think that's like the real, like that's real life. What they go through. What people go through. Like we go through these, they go through these families and these dad and these moms and these grooming these kids, and it becomes like an emotional or physical thing, with them, where they don't want to disappoint their parents and stuff like that, even when they fall out of love with, what I'm saying, with the sport or whatever the thing is. So I just took it like that because I was just looking at it like, what I mean. I took it like, oh, But like you said though, he was there. The actual mascot was there in that ending scene too. Like he was like, what I mean. He had the. I think he was. That was the one with the pink or the one with the orange feathers. Both of them was there at the end of
Well,
the
in
scene.
the
I'm
scene
pretty
you
sure.
see him in when he hits him, he's not in color. He's like in black and white or whatever, gray toned out. But
Okay.
there's points in what you said that I can I don't know if I'd use the word agree, but I feel like they are super relevant. So like, because I feel like you're referring to the scene when Isaiah Wright is like shaking him up and basically asking him like, "Do you really want this?" And he's all basically, "What does Camden want at the end of the day? Like, do you Camden want this for yourself?" And he basically comes down to make that decision. And I agree, you are right when you get down to the point where it's like, yeah, a lot of people, when people push so hard and give you all this fuel to go be something, you don't want to let them down. And that happens a lot in the world of sports. But I don't feel like the mascot was like the forces of good trying to veer him off the path. I feel like this was just the let's call it the nexus point, like in whatever Marvel uses that word that they use, the absolute point, where if he doesn't get hit in the head with this, he gets drafted to a team regularly, and he doesn't get under their control, and he just goes and does his career however he goes about it, and that's not what anybody wanted who was a higher up. If his dad was behind making deals, that's not what his dad wanted. Was for him to get drafted to a regular team the regular way. He wanted to be the saviors. He wanted to fill the shoes of Isaiah Wright and be the next GOAT. So the hammer hitting him in the head was what led him down the path of going to Isaiah Wright's camp because no team took him after that, and they thought he because when he went to the combine, he had an incident that caused him to lash out and all that whatever it was, and then Isaiah Wright reached out and was like, "Hey, I'll give you an opportunity," and now he's his only opportunity, his only option is to go this route.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sounds, what I mean. Sounds sensible, and so it definitely sounds sensible.
Yeah, I feel like
I
that's how
just
that's why the mascot was real to me, is because it was like basically a hired hitman, bro. Basically, whoever
Well,
that
you know
was.
what? I feel like the mascot was like a big symbolism of like basically what not to be, right? Because remember Isaiah kept saying, "Don't be a mascot. Don't be a mascot. Don't be a
Mhm.
mascot. Don't be
Well,
a mascot,"
you
right?
see this niggas out here doing the dirty work. How many hymns want to be the dude doing the dirty work?
Well, here's the thing. Well, that's true too. But then
No
like,
matter
all
what
right,
it
so
was,
I was
mascot sucked.
well, and then Isaiah told it. He told a real story, like real life story, like
Mhm.
our like not movie. Like he told a real life, like our world story about like when like the Native Americans, they had like they made a football team back when they
Well, they
were
had a
back then,
game
whatever.
similar to football.
They were like whooping well, no, they actually they made a football team to fight, like, what I'm saying, because they were saying like Native Americans and blacks, what I'm saying, they were just in inferior basically. So they made a football team, they got nice. They created the spiral plays, they created the no look, you know what I mean, like the I'm not good with football, all that shit, you know what I'm saying, they created mad plays and stuff like that. So they, after that, when the white boys, I'm trying to say, they like they got mad at them and stuff like that, and like, so when they basically forced their team out, that's when they created the mascot of like, the Indians and all that other stuff, like, and stuff like that. They started giving teams Indian names and all that other stuff. Like that's when that started happening, after that team was basically disassembled and shit like that. So he was saying that, basically, I feel like he was saying like, don't become a mascot, like don't become like, what I'm saying, like somebody that's just gonna fade. Like you have to be like, it was part of like, that part of being the goat, or basically that part of not being the goat, like, what I'm saying, that you can't be a mascot because you're gonna be forgotten. They're gonna erase you, you're gonna be forgotten. That's not what a goat is. So that's how I feel like the mascot was like sort of similar, that's that type of symbolism in there. And also the fan. Remember the crazy ass fan that kept fucking yelling and spitting and shit and attacking him? She crawled up from under the bench and shit in the sauna and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like symbolism too for like just like the pressure. Like you know what I'm saying? The
Yeah,
pressure the fans put on you and all that other shit. Like
but that's why I say that I feel like they're real, because just because they're symbolism doesn't mean that they don't actually exist and aren't doing the things that you're seeing on the screen.
but then
These
he act like the bitch was there though. It's Isaiah. He was like, what girl?
You don't know what the fuck he was doing in that scene. He literally ends that scene with, "Oh yeah, that girl," because he was trying to play it off like, "Nigga, it doesn't exist. Like we ain't talking about it. Like let's act like it never happened."
It ain't significant, right? Like, yeah,
He that
like
shit actually existed. He celebrated that shit. He was like, "Yo, you seen that shit? Like, yo, I gotta clean this up for the fans and all this stuff." So he was referring to to that woman being there, and that woman existed. When she first pounced on the car and spit at the window, they referred to her by name. The agent or whoever it was referred to her by name, like Marjorie or some shit like that.
well, I'm not saying that didn't happen. That definitely happened. Like them, him being attacked, that happened. But
But that's
I'm
what I'm
just
saying. Like they
questioning.
could be symbolism
That's my
of
part of
things
question.
like pressure, and that like I don't really feel like the mascot is necessarily symbolism, but he's definitely like a weird kind of guide through this adventure in a sense. Like the person who steers him in certain directions and shit like that at a certain point. So I do agree with them being somewhat symbolism, but also I feel like those characters do exist. Like they weren't like figments of imagination. Like, cause why wouldn't they just say that he got hit at practice? If he got hit at practice and cracked his head that way, why would we get a story of it being somebody being attacked?
Well, even if it like if like even though I'm questioning the mascot part, even if it did physically happen, I still think that's still like how you said it's still symbolism for
Yeah.
getting hit on the field, and
Just like
I'm
how
trying to
we
say
watch Sinners and everybody was like,
also
oh
they being tapped
well,
on the field with mascots every day. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm
what
like.
did Haley
It's,
Steinfeld's character? I forget her name in the in Sinners, but people literally said she represented and symbolized the whole way of being as a white person around black people, and she
man, that was
literally
real.
existed. Yeah, like we know she fucking existed. So they can both
One
be the
cool
same.
thing was one cool thing was the the Last Supper reference, them being like gods to like the fans, and
Oh, when he
that
was
was
at like the
real.
Freemason party and shit.
Yeah, well, actually, not when he was at the right before that, when he was at the photo shoot, when he was at the table.
Oh
Remember, he
yeah,
was in
yeah,
the middle.
yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was cool. That's how people see these celebrities and sports players and stuff like that. See them as God. You know what I mean? That's how they idolize them and stuff like that.
And I think
That
that
was
was the
cool.
one thing that they were trying, like one notion that they were trying to push is like, don't chase the image of being a god, and like don't idolize these people as gods, because they're out here making bad choices just like anybody else. Like they got the pressure on their back, and they make bad decisions based off of the pressure just like anybody else. Because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, it's the same outcome for everybody. Are you gonna rise to the occasion and do what you got to do?
right.
His was just a lot more extreme.
Very extreme. I would say day two was the beginning of his extremity. Fucking the poise day
Oh,
when
when he
his
passed
when
the
that
fuck out.
nah, that was, I think that was day 3 or 4. I'm talking about when the man was getting hit in the face
Oh,
with
oh
the
yeah,
football.
yeah, 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 yeah. Bro was getting blasted. He's like, who these dudes?
And that was just about him just being under pressure. Like you had to keep calm under pressure. You know what I'm saying? That was that lesson
Despite
right
him
there.
seeing that shit happening and knowing he's responsible, because that's when he hit him with the, "You're the quarterback. You're always fucking responsible, bro." Like, and that's the
Yeah.
realness, like, of being like your point guard, your quarterback, the leader of your team. It always falls on you, and like I said, that's why I keep comparing it back to life. Is because at the end of the day, your life is your life. You are always to blame at the end. Like,
Yeah.
gotta hold, well, maybe not hold to blame, but you got to hold yourself accountable. You know?
You gotta hold yourself accountable. The movie had a different ending.
Yeah, I seen that.
I heard.
I seen that.
Movie had the ending with it ended with actually Cam becoming the GOAT. And I think that's why they changed it too, because that ending was for the movie titled The Goat, when he actually became the GOAT, and Isaiah White went to live his life. You know what I mean? Whatever, all free and shit. But and that right there, it would have been true story, because that's what happens too. Shit, like, what I'm trying to say. But in this one, him, he kind of reclaims his freedom at the end when he kills everybody, kills all the
Now that he's a
executives.
fucking monster.
They
Basically,
went
but it
through.
was a good. I say it was a good transition because like that the exact thing that they went to implement in him through that journey got through. Like it was there. The dog in him, the Mamba mentality, to do whatever it takes. It was obviously there because he surpassed what they even expected. They thought he would just be a yes man and sign the contract, and he said, "Nah, dog, you did a little too good a job with this one right here. Like I got free will too."
In that scene,
Yeah.
Shorty committing suicide was definitely I felt
You're
like,
talking about the wife?
yeah, yeah, that
That's
was that
actually
was suicide.
Julia Fox.
Oh, is
Kanye
it?
what is that Kanye West's ex girlfriend, right? Because the one he's with
Okay.
now is Bianca Censori, whatever it is.
Yeah, Bianca, I know no last name, but yeah,
Julia
Bianca
is the one
definitely.
that was after Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt like that was similar, like, and I feel like that was just for like symbolism for like the women that just play their part along with these people to like make these deals, or like just be quiet during the secrets, and they know what rituals goes on, and they just don't say nothing, and at the end of the day, I feel like if he would have signed, she would have definitely lived. I'm trying to say, she would have been a part of the life and stuff like. But because he didn't sign and he didn't become a part of their life, she was similar to like the women that just fall off just like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like, you
yeah,
ain't
because like
you.
everybody died there, bro. Basically, it's like everybody failed, and
But she's the
their
only one who
payment.
killed herself, bro. Like, she killed herself off. Like, boom, done.
It's like
That shit was
everybody
funny
had a
too.
price to pay for failing.
Yup, for now, yep, exactly.
Like
That
even though
shit was.
he's kind of
What's
like
that? That fat guy with the glasses? That was his manager.
yeah, his agent, the one that he like just like woofed over to the board.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but that makes a lot of sense because everybody makes these deals with the devil, and even though he's the one like acting out the carnage and stuff like that, here's you guys failing, and now reap what you sow.
Yeah,
What you
yep.
actually built is tearing you up. So
Did he kill Isaiah?
yeah, that was
He
the whole
killed
point at
Isaiah.
the end. Remember, it was like a fight to the finish. The last one alive can walk through the tunnel because he's the only one that can go through the tunnel. Only one can leave.
My head is just foggy right now. Like, how did
That
he
was
kill
one of
him?
the only things that I retained on because I did watch it twice. Like I didn't watch it the second time like fully through. I was like vaguely paying attention, but like trying to fill in the gaps of what I felt like I missed. But that was the one thing that I definitely retained from the first time I watched it is that it was a fight to the death because only one can be the goat. Only one goat can exist. And I wonder
Right,
if that
right.
pertains to just life in general. Like if the goat happened to be a singer, would it only be able to be a singer, or does every like lane have its own goat that exists out there with different devils pulling the strings in the back?
Oh, they say, what I mean, with these rituals and stuff, how you mentioned earlier, like, them shits be going on in the industries and
If
stuff like that. So I could,
if they were the only
like,
group of people pulling strings, every industry about to fall apart because all they go to is without string pullers now.
yeah, no, yeah. But I can see that though, like, in real life, it's like, you the next big thing, you the next Rihanna. So, do you want to be the next Rihanna? Yes or no? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let us know.
Totally.
You wanna be Rihanna? If you say yes, best believe it's gonna be a little trial before you just become the next Rihanna. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna just be a boom, you the next Rihanna. Like, nah, you gonna go through 7 days like Camden, like Cameron. You feel what I mean? And that shit gonna see what's up. They gonna test you.
Another one of the things this movie did good was they kept me interested in what's next for Camden, like all the way up until the end of the movie. Because still, even at the end of the movie, I'm like, damn, so I don't get to find out like what happens with him after this or anything like that.
Like, bro, like, does he go to the league? Like, dang, is there a
Yeah,
league?
does he
Like,
or does he just go and be great doing something else because like he's now gotten himself to the point that no matter what he chooses, he can just get through it now and make the best of it. So I was definitely interested for that kind of, because the thing about somebody with that kind of like fortitude, they ain't even got to go to the league. They gonna just go do anything and figure it out honestly. So
He became him.
yeah,
He's like,
exactly. He became him. And he technically does become him, the GOAT and all that stuff, because he leaves the tunnel. He's been infused with Isaiah Wright's blood or whatever it is. Went through some of the rituals.
I kept thinking that part was gonna lead to some vampire shit.
He kind of, like, basically what happens here is he gives in, but then destroys the master type thing.
Right,
So, like,
yeah.
he goes through all the tournament. He gets the power, but then he just looks back at the people who gave him the power and crushes them.
I don't know if you've seen the last season of Bleach, but it's just like my nigga Udio. That's what he did to the Quincy Master. That's what he did to the
Like,
Quincy nigga. Got in.
like,
Was
nigga.
like, hold up.
You thought I was just gonna turn on the gang like that? Like, nigga.
Was violent, my nigga. You let me handle shit. I could have got
Yeah, but you
him.
gotta look at it like this. Y'all walk or whatever his name is. That motherfucker, like, my nigga. But did you really catch me lacking though?
Yo, for real, nah, definitely, yeah. Yo, you right
He's
about
like,
that.
but do you think I didn't know this from the beginning?
Like, duh. Nigga, we allowed you in.
Elaborate plan, child, but I am 3,000 steps ahead of you. Like, God damn it. But like,
That's basically what happened with what Cameron did. Basically, he got in, and then when he finally became him, he looked at Isaiah, was like, "Yeah, nah, I'm not doing this shit. And all y'all gotta go."
on my second watch, like, I did appreciate more of what was going on, because at first I watched and I was like, what the fuck? Like, a lot of scenes look good and stuff like that, but like the story just ain't it. Like, that's the weakest part of the movie. Is the story just ain't it. It's not even
Yeah,
incomplete. It's not even missing parts. It's just a very,
it's just lacking.
yeah, it's
Like
not
it's just
generic. It's not bland. It's just meh. That's all it is.
yeah,
It's meh. Like,
yeah,
meh. I don't hate
yeah.
it. I don't love
One
it.
one interesting thing about the brutalness in the movie that I learned after watching the movie was that it's based on real facts. So I didn't know that football is basically created by Civil War and other war veterans. When they came back home, they thought the next generation was going to be too soft. So they came up with a lot of contact sports, football being the biggest one. So that's why we got like a lot of things like the blitz and what you call it, what's that line, simulated, no, not simulated, damn it, I don't know, it's a bunch of
Simulation.
fucking, no, not simulation. I'm thinking of what's like when they line up or some shit like that.
The
It's
line
an
of
army term.
scrimmage.
Yeah, scrimmage. There you go. There you go. Yep. That's an army. That's an army term. Like all terms, like basically not all terms, but earlier terms of football all came from like war veterans and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting because you see like the brutalness from like the 7 days that he went through, basically just like resembles like you know what I'm saying like the old
Even
that's
in
what they were trying to do.
even in the names
Football.
like of teams, like, think about it, you got teams like the Vikings, like Steelers, Bears, Titans, stuff like
It was
that.
all this was all a part of like you know that masculinity at that time.
Buccaneers, like all these things that
Mhm.
go to war and shit like that.
Yep,
So
yep, 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 yep. So, I thought that was interesting. You know, it's
Chargers,
interesting.
which would be based off of like, I'm assuming some kind of god, like Zeus or something like that. Because why else would it be a lightning bolt?
Yeah, apparently, you know, these people they look up to Greek gods and stuff like that a lot. Like you know what I'm saying? They like Valhalla and stuff like
Well,
that. You know, recently.
I was having this conversation, and it's funny that we're segueing into this. I was having this conversation recently with my cousin. I was like, you can't just listen to things because they align with what you want to believe, and that's the easiest thing to do as a human being. I feel like is to align with things just because they align with what you want to believe. Um, and for us to be speaking about this, that's kind of the same thing. People who are in the war and all that, they want to hear stories, grandiose stories about war and people who fight battles, because it drives their mentality to want to do that themselves, to think it's cool
Right.
and stuff like that. Um, like people who do zodiac signs and stuff like that, for instance, it allows them to be the person they want to be and have a reason because they can just be like, oh, I do this because I'm a Gemini. Like that's just how we act. Like, so it just it pushes what they want to believe even further, and so they align with it. And
Yeah. Sort of like, and when you speak in that terms, it's sort of like you look at the whole football thing. It's sort of like that's how it came about, and that's how it sort of like remained.
yeah, because like think
Like,
about it. If you have something you believe in and somebody speaks against it, they could be making mad valid points, but you could be like, nah, like no way, no way. Like until I see it from my own eyes, no way. It's like because you don't need nothing shaking your cage of life. So, and I don't necessarily knock people for that, but I do think you have to like be aware enough to be like, maybe I should do my research on some things instead of just signing it.
I, like you said, if somebody's making like valid ass points and you're like just dead ass ignoring it, like that's a problem.
Well, people
Like
do
that's
that,
that.
and a lot of people go through life even when they're saying they don't want them. They want yes men in their life. People who are just gonna be like, yeah, that works. Yeah. Do that. Yeah. You're right for thinking that way. So there's a lot of people who just want that in their life, even when they say they don't want
Yeah. I think even like going back to the movie, I think in the movie that's sort of like what they was trying to build Cameron to be. Just
that.
that yes football player.
Act, it's interesting because Isaiah gives him a lot of super solid advice that could gear him the other way. Because even when we go back to that initial conversation where he was like, "What does Camden want?" He said, "What? You're just somebody who's doing this because you want the validation of others and stuff like that." Larry started it off with that, and he was like, "Well, what does Camden want? Are you just here to make your dad happy, or do you actually want to be him?" Like, so
I think you know what, but his dad gave him some solid. Even though his dad like ruined himself, his dad gave him some solid advice in the beginning of the movie too, when he said, it's just to be like Isaiah White, to be that great, you gotta be willing to take everybody out and stuff like that, and you know
yeah,
what I'm
he
saying, you
said
gotta
you
be.
gotta be willing to sacrifice. But do you see the sacrifice that he had to make right there in that moment?
I was
Leg
about to
was
say.
hanging off, bro. Not even attached anymore. Like his pantaloons was what was keeping the leg there.
Yeah, that was.
Yo, I seen
Oh,
that shit and I'm like, all that for
yeah, I know.
and then they had the nerve to say this nigga went on to win 7 more.
No, eight, nigga,
No, he won 8
eight
in
more.
total. That was his first one. So he won 7
Nigga,
more after the injury. I'm like, what? 7
that's
more?
wild.
He even asked that
But
nigga. He said, "So how did you get back on the field?" Like, your leg, your lower half of your leg wasn't even attached to your
well,
body anymore, bro.
that's interesting that you brought it up because in the original movie, Goat, it was going to reveal that he made a deal with the devil to not get hurt.
Well, I think we know that happened anyways without them doing that.
But like, so without them saying that, yeah, that's something we just assume. Because as soon as that
Bro,
happened, he wanted.
there's
What
no
else? What
way
else?
they surgically repaired your leg. You had to grow a new leg, bro. Like, yeah, like in Deadpool, like when he was just baby Deadpool for like a couple. Like, yo, you literally had to grow a little ass leg and it just formed into a regular leg again because there's no way you reattach that shit. And he started playing football. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, but what I was saying though, about the dad though, I never even finished it. But dad gave him that advice. Cameron actually used that advice right at the end scene when he killed everybody. He took out everybody that was basically preventing him to being who he wanted to be. Actually, he wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
So he
basically gave
killed.
him that
He killed
advice that
the
like don't let nobody shackle you down, homie.
nigga bodied everybody. He said that
And
right
that
there.
that was probably the worst time for anybody else in that stadium for that advice to come ringing in his forehead. Because now y'all all
Right.
dead. And then everybody was celebrating him, like the cheerleaders and all that. They were celebrating the fuck out of that shit. They were like, "Yeah, that's our goal. Freed us from slaving."
My question, you stupid. My question is, did that nigga get sacrificed in the club?
I had a similar one that I had seen online. I don't think he got sacrificed in the club, but he was definitely going through one of their rituals to prove that he was like, acceptable. He was definitely going through one
Right.
of those moments.
I'm speaking on Cameron. I'm talking about the nigga who head was on the table.
Oh yeah, the Mark guy, right? Marcus, whatever his name was,
Who protected him
the
from blood.
doctor dude.
He said run. He told him to run. He
Yeah,
said run.
or maybe they were just like, this is one of those moments where it's
I
like,
was
can you keep your
that.
mouth shut, Camden?
Yeah, now that was that symbolism for one of those parties we be, you know what I'm saying, that we be hearing about. Like
I'm
that
pretty
was
sure
kind of
that's what
crazy.
I'm saying, man. Like this nigga went to a football training camp and found out that to become the GOAT, you basically have to join a cult.
That was crazy. That was
That's
wild.
basically what he found out there. Like one of the things I've seen online that somebody asked was like, do you think his family was in on it the whole time? Because they brought up the opening scene when he was a kid, and if you look at the thing they had on the wall that was like a mural for Isaiah Wright, it was like very like something you would pray to, worship type shit, and they were also pushing for him to go this route, like from a young age. Did any of his other siblings kind of get this push or anything like that in what they did, or
Well,
did
I
they
don't think
plan
so
to
because
sacrifice him early?
remember during the press interview, his brother even said that. His brother said, why y'all ain't push me like that?" and some shit like that. And then he told him to shut up or something like that. But also at the same time, when you say the family in on it, it makes me wonder because when he called and told the brother, like, listen, I'm seeing stuff, something's wrong with me, he just basically gave him some bullshit advice and told him to get back to fucking work. Like everything with his brother was kind of like pushing. Remember, even when he got mad at him because he told him like go back out there and run. He was like, yo, you could do that shit better, do that shit. You know what I'm saying? He like, nigga. But like I feel like you might be right, honestly, but I don't know. That could have been the father's influence on the brother. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, as far as like maybe he groomed
But that's
both
what
of
I'm
them and like
saying. Like
nigga.
maybe he convinced the whole family to just be like, "Yo, we gotta push this little motherfucker, bro." Like
He
the
could have
mom was
groomed
extra
them.
teary about this shit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right.
but I
But he
can't.
could have groomed the
But
family
they
to
could
push him.
just be protecting the kid because they were very protect the asset and stuff like that. Like, but they could just
But
be. It's an interesting idea because the same things you would do as a regular good family in this scenario is almost the same thing you would do as a family that's set in the month. If you know how to carry yourself well and not make it look suspicious, you're gonna look just like a good family anyway. So,
yeah, yeah.
so it's hard to differentiate if it is or isn't.
I mean, yeah, because right now we're basically debating their support. Like, damn, did they really
E-
support this nigga or really fake?
exactly. So like we already know the dad did some scheming in the back, but was anybody else involved in the scheming is what I'm interested in. And I can see something where like they didn't tell the kids until they were older, like, yo, like we worked out a deal and we just gotta push your brother to be the best. Like you ain't
Yeah.
noticed for the last 10 years, and yeah, I get it, you got some animosity, but do you want to be in his shoes now that we told you?
The brother being slick when he said why y'all ain't push me like that. Like he could have been like, could have been just throwing like a little shot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to say a little jokey joke or something between the months. That's why she brushed him off like that. Like, nigga, like, please, you ain't him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But what else is there?
uh the movie was I can't think about no more scenes, so I'm just giving my overall view. The movie was, pretty it was okay.
I feel like the
Pretty
actors did
much
their
okay.
jobs. The actors definitely did their
Yeah.
jobs. The writing could have been a little better, where they could have allowed Marlon to be a little more funny. Marlon, like he had it in the beginning, but it never really got to Marlon funny. It was like,
I wasn't disappointed. Okay. Let me say that I wasn't disappointed with Marlon's character at all. I
me
wasn't
neither.
disappointed. I think even the wife, who you said Julia Roberts is her name,
Julia Fox.
Julia Fox. I think she played her part well. I think shit, even the fucking the agent played his part well. Like, I mean, it was like it wasn't the acting in this movie. It was like how you said the writing overall,
The story just blah.
it was just not that interesting. Like I had to be
Well,
quite
I
honest.
mean, it makes
Like,
sense why it's an hour and a half long movie and not 2 hours.
yeah, yeah. You know what? They could have made it an hour and 15, hour and 10. It would have been okay. Like, because it's really like, why did I like it? Like, it really like leaves you with like, why did I watch this? Like how you said, like it's like, oh, you don't really try to like. I didn't deep dive into it after the movie went off. Like how we usually like, we speak on movies and we say, oh yeah, we think about that. That did not occur. All my thoughts occurred like as the scenes played out, and I'm like, oh, this could be this could be that. And then when the movie was over, I was just like, okay, like let me go get something to eat. And what the fuck? Like I don't even know. I just was like, what the hell did I just watch? Like it was just nothing. So with that, I'm gonna give my grade, man. If that's okay. You okay with that? You got anything else you want to say?
I'll just say that one of the scenes that I like that showed the transition from going from Camden just being a regular kid to like falling into that dark side was when he cracked the fuck out that dude who was coming at him, bro. When they were in pads, and he
Bro,
was
that's
and they
the
showed
hell.
him in the X-ray form, and you expect that Camden got cracked because they showed his head split.
Yo,
And then it's him who did the crack, and he's like, "Come get your dead body up! Come
I
get
was
your
like,
dead
yo,
man's
I'm
up!"
confused. I thought Cameron was the one on the floor, and like you said, nigga said, pick up your dead body. I said, oh nah, that's
I like
definitely
Camden's down
Pink
there
Panther.
dying. Help this man.
I said, done for. Movie over.
And then you find out it's actually Camden who laid the hammer on this dude from the QB
Yeah.
position, from a standing position, laid that dude who was running at him out. Like, he was really taking that, and that was all the influence from the blood and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like he was gaining the powers. He was getting too involved.
Yeah, fact. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he
That's
was.
why the
He
dude
was
kept saying,
definitely.
like, "You're gonna thank me for all this." When he was injecting him, because he was like, "Yo, you literally gaining the goat's abilities, bro." Like,
It was weird. That nigga, I thought that was weird. He just kept sticking him out of nowhere. I was like, all right, I would have
and
beat
then he
him
started
up.
sticking himself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like a fucking cracker. Yeah, yeah.
But that's it. That's
Real
all I got.
talk. Real quick, I got one more thing before I grade it. Actually, and here's part of why I think the mascots was like there sometimes, there not sometimes. Because when they was in the desert, he saw another one, and that one just happened to flash into Isaiah White.
Yeah, but they showed that like the concussion was really having its own like lasting
Yeah.
effects.
I feel like yeah, you could be right. Yeah, that first hit could be very, could have happened,
I'm pretty
right?
sure there's a lot of things that are in there that you might see multiple times that sometimes they are figments of the imagination, but
And it
these
was
things actually exist and like that's what I'm saying.
in
None of
different
this takes
forms.
away from these things actually existing and actually
Yeah,
happening.
I get what you're saying. Like I know, like the nigga was there, but it's just means something else. I know what you mean. I know
Like
what
think
you mean.
about it, if I'm not mistaken, the same hammer that he kills all the motherfuckers with at the end is the same hammer he gets cracked with for at the beginning, and it's just the thing that the Savior's mascot walks around with.
Oh yeah, where did he get that from at the end? That's right.
It was there.
He just picked.
It was
Oh, it's
there. It
just.
was a
Oh, he.
ceremony because what's gonna happen? Remember, that's what I'm saying. This was all an elaborate plan because the plan isn't for him to just get drafted. He's supposed to become the GOAT, and he's supposed to be the GOAT for the Saviors, for the San Antonio Saviors to live in Isaiah Wright's shoes and well
What is that
shadow.
behind him?
What that right here?
Oh no, no. Oh, well, it would be on your. See, it just flashed again. What was that? That flash?
This?
Yes. What is that?
This is my TV with my Xbox on it in the back.
Oh, I was like a little man, nigga. That just scared the shit out of
Yeah,
me,
that's
nigga.
just my my
Little
old
view. Now
Xbox.
I'm like, oh.
My old
Like,
Xbox
all
that's
right.
like for
That
Netflix and
note,
shit. But
I was gonna serious shit. On that note, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm giving my ratings.
But yeah, that's how I feel about that with the mascot and all that stuff. But
um,
yeah, go ahead, give your rating, sir.
I'm gonna give it a 2, man. Give it a 2. Two. Yeah, I mean, it was the writing was really bad. You know what I mean? As far as like, I get the symbolism and I get what it meant, and I get it, honestly. but it just wasn't good. Like it wasn't good.
Four and a
It
half.
wasn't good.
4.5 out of 10. Like this is a movie that like it don't suck. It ain't good, but like it's visually pleasing. It's interest. It got some interesting stuff that goes on and leaves you a little interested. But other than that, it was just so blah, bro. Like this is not something that I'm gonna go around my friends and be like, "Yo, I gotta show you this movie."
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
go around my friends and they have it on and I gotta sit through it again, I'm kind of sitting here like this.
yeah. I mean, and that's why I'm giving it a low. I'm giving it a low because I know it's really not like up. Like I feel like a 4 is a movie that I will spin back to. I'll spin back to for a little bit. You know what I mean? This one, I don't. I'm never going to see this again. It's
Nah, nah.
okay.
See, I feel like the two is crazy, though, just because like this is like the type of movie that in my head I'm like, if I'm scrolling channels one day with somebody just chilling and they're like, "Yo, I haven't seen him yet," I wouldn't mind just stopping, like, and just letting it rock. Like, so I feel like a two is like way below that standard. So like, you can keep it at a two. I'm totally fine with that. It's actually comedy, so I like it. But
I'm
like
I'm
there's
still saying it.
scenarios where I would let this movie rock again. Like think
Like,
about this. Like think about
I
this.
said,
Was it worse than Madam Web?
oh my god, it wasn't worse than Battle Man.
And you probably gave Madam Web a higher score than
What I
that.
gave Battle Man?
It was
What I
probably in
gave
the
Battle?
fours or fives. Like,
Oh hell no!
but
And
nah, you
Rich,
locked in two already. Nah, you already locked in
right?
two for this though, so it's too late. I'm not.
Nah, but the thing is,
I'm locking that in for him, guys.
yo, it's but nah, I would definitely keep it too. But honestly, I would grade Battle. If I had to go back and grade Battle Web again, I'm giving it a 1. Like honestly, like if we doing this scale, I'm giving it a
No,
1.
bro, the scores are locked in. There's no rebuttal scores. Like, come
Because
on, man.
no, I give it a 1 now because if I gave this a 2 and this is locked in, there's no way this is worse than Battle Web. So Battle Web has to be lower than this. Is
No,
what I'm trying to
basically what you did is like when they do those blind rating videos where you like are just rating things and like you hope the last one you get is really good and shit like that. You kind of did that. You blind rated. You didn't know what the future held, and now you just rated this one lower, forgetting that you rated
bring.
a worse movie
You
better than
know
this.
what? I think you know what, and that's we had an off camera. We had a discussion about the ratings, and you know what, my ratings may be obscure because I do the hip hop show, y'all, and I do like a 1 to 5 over there. So horrible is like just low, like 1, 2. So that's how I feel like for this
He's
is
trying to
Madam
save
Web is low.
himself.
Madam Web is definitely better than him. I get like we gonna put that on record. We gonna keep the 2 for him, and whatever I gave for Madam Web, we gonna keep that. We also gonna keep on record that I said Madam Web is not better than him.
More no, this is a more interesting movie. Madam Web is more rewatchable.
You think so? You know
Hell
what?
yeah.
Somebody told
Hell
me that
yeah.
Matt watched Madam Web like a few times, and I'm like, yo, I watched Madam Web probably like once or twice more. And when I see the thumbnail now, I'm like, I can't watch that. I'm not watching that shit. Like,
No,
I
like,
just feel like I'm not watching that shit
same
again.
scenario that I just gave you about this movie. If I'm just cruising channels and I'm sitting there with somebody and they're like, yo, we scrolled by 2 channels and one was him and one was Madam Web. If they chose Madam Web, I'm more pleased with the little hour that we're about to spend watching this movie, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm more pleased.
As you all right, oh please watch your Madam Web. Yeah,
I get to see
I
the
feel like
poison spider run around and do his little poison spider thing on a couple people. I get to get those little cheesy jokes in that they were getting in, like yeah, them little
Ben is
cheesy
about
moments that
this.
they were getting in that were kind of funny. Like I get those. Like Peter
Yeah,
Parker is born in the movie. Like
that's funny.
here,
Yeah,
I just
him
gotta
him
watch a bunch of weird shit and be like, yeah, I was interested.
Yeah, I wish I sort of feel like how you do. I wish they would have brought Marlon out a little more. Yeah, I think he could have saved the movie, but
If I
maybe
had
he could have
slightly
even.
more Marlon feeling moments, it'd be like a six.
I think Marlon should have even probably wrote some of the movie. I think his writing would have saved the movie. Honestly, he probably could have added a little something more to it. I don't know. I don't know, man. But anyway, you
He
gave
said
it a
you fucked
4.
her. 4.5.
Nigga had to get. Nigga had to get in his head. I said, "Oh shit, what are we doing here, man?" I like the wow.
Yeah.
I was curious too. When I was like, "When you gonna sell it?" Did he fuck her? I was like, "Shit." I was curious as hell.
Beat that man head in with his own helmet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yup. That's how
Remember,
he died.
he
Yup.
ain't even retired fully, so he just beat that man into retirement.
Yeah. You definitely. Yeah, you right about that. He was like something. He said some shit. He was talking some sly shit. Then Marlon said something. He was like, "No, it's zoom, zoom, zoom," and then he started beating him in the head with the helmet. I
Here
don't
we
know.
go. He snapped that dude's arm back. He snapped Camden's arm back, and then Camden proceeded to beat his ass, and then beat all those motherfuckers out their ass with one arm. With one arm. They even had that big ass dude who walked up behind him like, "Oh, you ain't about to sign the contract." He tore that motherfucker up with one arm.
The one part that the picture with the commissioner. Did they show that before that scene? Like, did we know about that picture?
I
Like,
forgot. I forgot.
I was trying to figure that shit out. I'm like, did they show this
That's
picture
a
earlier? Because
dot.
they
I'm not
showed
gonna care to connect.
what it was. But yeah, I
But
mean,
that's
that's
episode
him.
28, and that is
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I mean, go check it out. That's our non-expert opinion. Blak and Cinco.
Jordan
If you
Poole, you're
haven't,
lucky that you're only the producer on this because I was ready to come in here and be like, "What the fuck was that, Jordan?"
yeah, it's actually pretty good that his like he didn't shoot it. You know what I mean? Like it's better
Honestly,
that
if
he
your
did.
name was like this movie would have got people watching just because Marlon Wayans was in it. But if his name wasn't attached to this movie, we'd probably be flaming this shit even
Yeah. Honestly, because exactly, yeah. Because if it was this weird and wasn't a Jordan Peele movie or Jordan like connection, like what the fuck are you doing? Like honestly, like
more. This is a
that shit.
-3. Get
Yeah,
this
that
off
shit was.
my screen.
Yeah, nah, Jordan, his name definitely saved the. Like you right about that. You'd be like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, y'all go check that out. But more importantly, check us out. N.E.O. the pod on all platforms. Anywhere you want to check us
Tell
out,
us
we
what you
everywhere.
think about this movie if you've seen it.
Yeah,
Tell us
drop a
what you're
comment.
watching. We want to
Give us
know.
some just suggestions. Maybe y'all have something for us to watch. Maybe you watched something recently, you thought it was good. Give us some suggestions. I don't know. Rock out with us.
I'll throw this
Chat with
as
us.
a goodbye. I've gotten through Peacemaker. I'm all caught up, and it's actually pretty damn good.
I'll end it with one on top of that. I haven't started. Peace out.
But we'll be
Nah,
back with Marvel Zombies next. Peace.
nah. Oh yeah, Marvel Zombies is next though. Marvel Zombies next. Um, not Peacemaker. Maybe if you want to do a review on it, we could probably try that. I could try it. Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do Peacemaker next, y'all. We'll find Peacemaker. No, Zombies is next, y'all. Peacemaker, maybe.
You have an in-between
Maybe.
show between season 1 and season 2 you gotta watch because they're building out a whole universe. But yeah, we'll talk about that some other time. NEO out.